Commission reported 500 tons for the week ended January 14th. Exports this marketing year so far are 2.688 million tons, down 32% from last year. Malaysian palm oil is up and crude oil is higher due to escalating conflicts in the Middle East. However, Chicago soy oil and European rapeseed are down. The Canadian dollar is adding more than 1/10 of a U.S. cent compared to Thursday's close. The March canola contract is up $4.60 per ton at $636.40. In the U.S., corn, soybeans, and wheat are all making gains. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that 1.251 million tons of 2023-24 corn were sold for export during the week ended January 11th, above trade estimates and up 61% from the 4-week average. More than half of the sales went to Mexico. Meanwhile, 20,000 tons of 2024-25 corn were sold to Japan. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reported that 1.054 million barrels of ethanol were produced on average per day during the week ended January 12th, down by 8,000 from the week before. Ethanol stocks rose by 1.324 million barrels to 25.695 million, the largest amount since March. The Buenos Aires Grain Exchange said Argentina's 2023-24 corn crop is now 90% planted. The March corn contract is up 5 U.S. cents per bushel at $4.49. 681,300 tons of 2023-24 U.S. soybeans were sold for export during the week ended January 11th, down 6% from the 4-week average. 1,700 tons of 2024-25 soybeans were sold to Japan. 349,200 tons of 2023-24 soy meal were also sold, as well as 1,700 tons of 2024-25 soy meal to Japan and Canada. Only 100 tons of soy oil were sold during the week. The BAGE reported that 97% of Argentina's soybean crop is now planted, while the crop improved to 55% good to excellent. The March soybean contract is up 8 U.S. cents per bushel at $12.22. 707,600 tons of 2023-24 U.S. wheat were sold for export during the week ended January 11th, much higher than what the trade estimated. The BAGE reported that 98% of Argentina's wheat crop is planted with production estimated at 15.1 million tons. Wheat shipments through the Suez Canal were reduced by 40% in the first half of January to 500,000 tons due to missile attacks in the Red Sea, according to the World Trade Organization. However, few shipments are being cancelled outright. Canada exported 388,900 tons of wheat during the week ended January 14th, with a record 9.78 million tons shipped so far this year. The March Chicago wheat contract is up 11 U.S. cents per bushel at $5.96. The March Kansas City hard red wheat contract is up 9 U.S. cents per bushel at $6.15. The March Minneapolis spring wheat contract is up 10 U.S. cents per bushel at $6.98. That's a look at the ICE futures in U.S. markets for Friday, January 19th. In Winnipeg for MarketsFarm.com, I'm Adam Polishati.
Take command of productivity with the New Holland T5 Series tractor available at Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John. With 4 easy-to-use transmissions, fuel-efficient engines, and a choice of comfortable agronomic cabs, it's easy to find the model that's right for you. These are heavy-duty but nimble utility tractors with 4-wheel drive and big power to help you do a wide range of jobs, from loader work to speedy transport. See a T5 tractor today at Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John and take command.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at Energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Good morning and welcome to the show. My mic's a little hot. My apologies for that. A little later on, we're going to be sitting down with Lisa Jewell, a local social worker. You probably recognize the name, who has founded a new nonprofit called the Wellness, Truth, and Families Foundation. The charity is aiming to help people who have moved past crisis in their lives, but who also need a bit of a hand in healing and support as they rebuild. But our first guest is gearing up for another challenging year playing opposition to the Liberals in the House of Commons. To chat about some of the challenges and concerns that he and the Conservative Party of Canada are looking to the government to address, we're joined now by Prince George Peace River Northern Rockies MP, Bob Zimmer. Bob, welcome back to Moose Talks.
Good to be back, Dub.
Always
Happy
a mouthful to get your whole title in there. Happy New Year to you too. Let's start with this the petition you helped start kind of before Christmas there with a Dawson Creek resident, all about I guess, demanding that the government look at what's happening in Northeast BC
Yeah.
in terms of crime and do something about it. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, that was the idea, was to work with Kaylee Lindbergh. She's a great person from Dawson Creek, and had the situation where they had some shots fired and gunshots in Dawson Creek, for goodness sake. Whatever happened to, living in rural BC being a peaceful place to live, but now crime has come to Dawson and Fort St. John and other parts of the region. And so it was just to bring those interests through a petition back to Ottawa, so we can say, hey, look, it isn't just a big city problem.
Yeah.
The problems affecting Toronto and Vancouver are now affecting us in these rural and remote areas, and it's all around decriminalization of hard drugs. That's where we've even heard from the RCMP. That's where the hockey stick graph started going up, was around that decriminalization. So no, this is just an effort to bring awareness to it, to give locals a voice, to voice their opinion on it, and have those voices heard in Ottawa.
Now, why was it important for you to be a part of this? And I only ask because I know it's part of your job as the MP. You stand up in the House, you speak, you say, hey, Government of Canada, this is going on in, Peace River, in Dawson Creek, and Fort St. John.
Yeah.
Why did you say, I think we should have this other tool, and I should have my name sort of backing this other tool to get the government take notice of what's happening?
Yeah. Well, I think it's, I've heard the concerns for several years now. It started a group in Dawson Creek that had some similar situations. They started a group to really kind of try and tackle that crime themselves, because they just saw it wasn't getting addressed, in the normal way it used to be addressed.
And you're talking about the Citizens on Patrol groups?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, and there's other ones around. But it was really, okay, I hear you. I want to do something too. We're in opposition. We're limited what we can do. We often criticize the government with these policies, how they're affecting real Canadians in their lives. But we needed a voice from Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies to Ottawa. We needed it from us to them to really highlight those issues again, because they're just not reversing. Whether it's the so-called, I call it unsafe supply, that's not stopping. Some of these facilities that they're opening are coming anyway, even though despite local opposition. The government is rolling these forward anyway, as sort of detrimental to the community as they are. So anyway, we needed our voice brought to Ottawa, and that's why we're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I'm going to guess, and tell me if I'm wrong, that if the Conservatives were to form government in the next election, decriminalization would be one of the things that you go, we're going to stop this, right? My question is where do you strike the balance, Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative Party, and we want to stop this crime happening, or certainly limit it and stop more of it from happening, but also make sure that people who are addicts, who have these problems in life, are not just being thrown in jail and then getting out, and they never actually get any better.
Well, a big part of what the province was supposed to do around this decriminalization, the federal government too, there's other pillars that were supposed to be provided, and recovery was supposed to be one of those pillars, but where is it? You just need to go 2 hours to the east to see Alberta, who's had a treatment program that's established. So you walk through the doors of a hospital or healthcare facility and you say, hey, look, I need help. You're not taken in 6 months or 6 weeks. It's immediately. And it's all a plan that was built by a good friend of mine, Marshall Smith. He's actually from BC. I know him from Prince George. Built this plan. He said, he's a former addict himself, and said the only way you're going to help people that are hooked on drugs is to help them recover. And all you need to do is to go to East Side Vancouver. To see somebody sustained in their addiction isn't, I think, the solution. We're seeing people just die of their addictions and die on the streets. Recovery is the answer, and that's what we in Pierre Poilievre support as recovery programs across Canada.
Is then the play would be, or even if while you're in opposition, pushing the government to say, hold the provinces accountable, make sure that they're making sure that there's recovery programs in place and more funding.
Absolutely.
Is it that you also want to maybe help the provinces fund that?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, I said it. I just met with Prince George Mayor and Council this week, and I said, one thing that we might disagree on the ways we help people, but we all care about people, whether you're a conservative or you're liberal. We all care about the individual. It's just how do we help them get better is, I think, the debate. liberals it's decriminalization. With conservatives, it's more about recovery. So we see at the end of the day, if somebody's recovered, they're healthy, they're happy, they're back with their families, and that's what we're after.
Yeah. One final thing on this, Bob. I think generally the response from the RCMP, both in Fort St. John and kind of what I've heard from Dawson Creek, is crime in general is not on the rise. But this is sort of violent, maybe even gang-related crime, if we want to call that, is definitely. But they're also saying we're handling it. Now, I don't expect you to bash the RCMP, but do you think that's another tool that needs to be leveraged more? Is how do we get it so that however it's done, the RCMP has more power, more resources to stop these sort of criminal elements that are causing most of what we're seeing and flaring up on social media with gunshots, car chases, these sorts of things.
Absolutely. I think we as a community, I'll make it abundantly clear, we need to support our local RCMP and the officers that they sign up to do a job to bring justice to society and keep us safe. But though to say that the crime rates have dropped, I think it's just, I'm a person that lives in Fort St. John too. And what used to be something you would call up, maybe it's a stolen bike or something else, people just don't bother anymore because they know they're not going to, we know that they're busy doing, other tasks. So, and the paperwork that's involved is really, insurmountable at times. It's just crazy. But so I would say it's more the fact that people have just said, look, we might not phone in where we normally would have. So I don't think people feel safer today. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And especially if you're in the inner cities and big cities. Well, I guess in our local communities too, even with illegal firearms and criminals using them to kill our kids, right? People don't feel safe, and we need to do what we can so Canadians can feel safe once again.
All right, Bob, let's talk about inflation.
Sure.
Another thing that's happening right now that seems to be out of control. Let's be honest, right? Prices of everything are going up. Food, especially, we seem to talk about a lot. Housing for low-income people and seniors is getting out of control. There isn't enough. Rent is going up. How do you expect the government and or the Conservative Party to handle that should you form government?
Yeah.
What's kind of the strategy on dealing with that situation?
I think we need to get government spending in order. I mean, that's really what I see is the crux of inflation, what's happening in Canada. We see a government that just keeps spending money. It's one thing to see a government, when there's a decline in maybe the economy or something, government steps up, spends a bit of money, gets some infrastructure built, building projects like a Peace River Bridge or something like that. But what we're seeing is this, record spending, but we're not seeing these projects get done. So we're all kind of looking around and thinking, okay, well, where's the money going then? And then we see some of the waste, and we've highlighted some of that with the ArriveCan for $54 million. I did a video with a guy named MP Damien Keurig just about how much the passport date cost.
Yeah.
The total with the program was $445 million. Like things that just head scratchers would be a mild way to put it. So the government spending has to be brought back into order and spend on things that really matter to Canadians. And I think that's where it all starts. We've all heard the analogies, the reason why interest rates go up is to kind of reduce spending, to sort of push down inflation. But when the government is printing money like crazy, it's kind of that reverse effect that it's having on it. So meanwhile, the Bank of Canada is trying to say, okay, we need to tamp down inflation. You have a government that's got their foot on the gas pedal. So no, I think Pierre Poilievre's made it very clear. We have to get our house in order first as the government of Canada. And he's made a lot of policies and talked about a lot of ways that we're going to do that.
I see. Okay. I guess the same with the housing problem. I mean, this is sort of a similar issue, right? Even after you get government spending out of control, I mean, I think that's still going to be something. I believe Pierre Poilievre has talked about this specifically, kind of housing and how that's good. So, tackling that, the price of food, local farmers, that sort of thing. Is this all things that the Conservatives want the government to see? Maybe even subsidies, dare I say, more government spending to help keep food prices low so that everybody can afford to eat.
Yeah, well, if you're speaking about the housing issue, use an example. I used to build houses here in town. I was a commercial carpenter, but did houses myself. And we used to go in with a plan on Monday, and we'd get a permit by Wednesday, maybe Friday if it took a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And we're seeing places like Toronto, these bigger cities, take years to get those same permits, and the costs. I think Pierre had said the cost alone just to get a permit was per house, per unit, was about 1.6 million.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, 500,000 in Toronto, something like that. So what he said is, look, we're going to cause some pressure to come on these municipalities that have a whole bunch of red tape that are slowing housing starts from happening. And we're just going to cause some pressure and make them speed things up a bit, which is, I think, a great thing. But it's a reality because it's just driving up the costs for everybody. Mm-hmm. Food's a different issue, and that's, I think, more related to inflation than anything. And what we're seeing too, even with I don't think anybody minds a grocery store making money that it needs to make for its shareholders and stuff like that. But I think what we're seeing is these costs just go I'll use maybe the North as an example as my reference. If somebody watches my videos on in the North, what groceries cost, like a medium-sized box of Cheerios was $17, and box of craft dinner that we can buy here for a couple bucks up there is about $4 to $5 a box, right?
Bob, you're talking like Yellowknife or a Caliot,
in Cambridge Bay and places like that. So all places that if I got one heating bill from a local in Yellowknife. This is in October. His heating bill was $1,400 per month. Then when it was a mild month, and he just sent me another bill, and he said, well, we're at $1,700 to fill up now, of which about $180 of that's carbon tax. And he said, that probably won't last me till the end of the month. Mm-hmm. And then you add in higher food costs and then some of the plans that Minister Guilbeault and Prime Minister have about you're gonna electrify, you're gonna do all this. Well, folks up there just can't buy a heat pump and it work all the way through the winter. They'll freeze. They stop working at -30. So anyway, some of these things we have to be more practical, have some more common sense around, and I think we need to do what we can so people can stay warm and be fed in Canada. I mean, we have abundant resources in our country. We just need a government that needs to understand developing them is a good thing for our country.
Yeah. All right, Bob. Well, we already only have a minute left, so I'll have to skip
by
ahead.
Fast.
Yeah, right. This year, what do you think you're kind of most looking forward to, whether it's your work in the House and constituency work, just kind of in general the year ahead? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I guess, we're doing a lot of good things in the North. My portfolio is Northern Affairs, Arctic Sovereignty, Northern Economic Development, doing more on there, getting up there more. Locally, though, you just making sure that the resource sector keeps on humming along. We see some promise there. We see LNG Canada's about to come on stream where they start shipping natural gas to the world. Great thing. We see other plants that are in the queue ready to go. So our local economy looks good, and but if we don't stay ahead of things, things can get worse, right? So I think it's just for us, we just need to be on top of the issues and make sure the government doesn't forget about Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies, right? And the petition, I think, is a nice way to finish this, is just to highlight, this isn't acceptable. We don't accept that these crimes are happening in our local communities, and we need to fight back.
Absolutely. If you want to sign the petition, I believe you can find it on your website.
Absolutely.
We did a story about it over at Energeticcity.ca as well, if you'd like. Bob, thank you as always for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate the time.
You're very welcome. That's Bob Zimmer, MP for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies, here on Moose FM. We'll be right back to talk to Lisa Jewell right after this on Moose Talks.
Turn Regretfest into Wendy's Fresh for 5 breakfast. Get a breakfast biscuit with a fresh cracked Canadian egg, savory sausage, or apple with smoked bacon and small seasoned potatoes for just $5. Taxes extra at participating Wendy's. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know the Fort St. John Work BC Centre provides funding for foreign credential evaluation for individuals that have studied outside Canada? Call 250-787-0024 or drop by the office at 9907 99th Avenue to see if you are eligible. All Work BC services are free.
This program is funded by the Government of Canada and the Province of British Columbia. When it comes to iPhones, most people think you can't replace a battery, but Micro Consulting can. If you need a new battery, see the crew at Micro Consulting because battery life is important. It's how you stay connected, take care of business, and keep in touch with the ladies. See, they just don't stop calling. Hello there. Oh, hi Mom. Also, remember to update your contacts.
For new batteries, screen replacements, parts and more, see Micro Consulting Sales and Service, keeping you connected on 100th Street and on Facebook.
Give your hardworking vehicle a treat with Moose FM's Dirtiest Vehicle Contest. Whether it's tackling school runs or conquering off-road trails, your vehicle deserves a break. Entering is a breeze. Go to our website, moosefm.ca/win, to enter for a $100 gift card from Rudy's Highway Truck and Car Wash. So go ahead, enjoy those adventures, and leave the cleanup to us. Participate in Moose FM's Dirtiest Vehicle Contest, proudly sponsored by Rudy's Highway Truck and Car Wash. Gift card is redeemable at Fort St. John and Fort Nelson locations. At Moose FM, we love local. That's why we've teamed up with the Fort St. John Co-op to get vocal for local. Every Thursday morning at 9:10, we'll interview a small mom and pop shop to talk about their business, their products, and the community they serve. If you or someone you know are a business owner and would like to be featured, email reception@moosefm.ca or call 787-7100. Vocal for Local on 100.1 Moose FM is brought to you by the Fort St. John Co-op. You're at home here.
Born here, raised here, knows the challenges here. Action Property is a locally owned management company. Wanda was born and raised here, and she knows the kinds of challenges we face here in the North. If you're looking to rent your commercial or residential property, work with a company that knows the market. Work with Wanda and the team at Action Property Management in Fort St. John or Dawson Creek. See them on Facebook or go to their website, actionproperty.ca.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at Energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the program. Thank you, Trey, for trying to keep me off the camera there. I'm Dub Craig. Now we're here to talk a little bit about a brand new nonprofit that is coming to town. The idea behind it in general is to provide resources to women and I suppose other people in crisis after the crisis has sort of immediately passed. And it's a hole in the support system that this person has identified. So I'm very happy to welcome back to Moose Talks. It's been a while. Lisa Jewell is here. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Dub. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I have to ask you, you got to talk right into that mic so we could hear you. There you go. Tell us a bit about the Wellness, Truth, and Families Foundation that you've founded, and I think you said you've got your, or just about to get your charitable status, I suppose, or nonprofit status.
So we got the nonprofit status already.
Yeah.
Wellness, Truth, and Family Foundation is basically the values on what we're focusing on. We're looking to provide services that are either extremely hard to get, extremely expensive, not really available in our community to the people that need it. So it's not a frontline crisis organization. The idea is for deeper healing and community creating.
Yeah.
So for example, we're having our auction today at 3:00. Everybody, you got to check that out. Like seriously, there's some seriously awesome stuff on there.
We'll talk about that at the end too.
Yeah. But we're going to be having group support. We're actually already doing a self-discovery, self-love class, and the women that are coming to it, you can already see their self-confidence and their self-worth and the ability to even accept a compliment is rising. And it's a hard thing to learn after you've been through trauma. Who you are. Who are you? Who's looking back in the mirror at you? Do you know that person? Probably not. So rebuilding that personality, relearning the skills that you've lost. I've seen a lot of skills that have been lost. Yeah. We've lost a lot of people in our community over the last couple of years during many different crises that we have going on. And I was hoping to work on something where we can bridge some of the gaps that we're missing. So the groups support, one-on-one counseling support, and it's going to be something that's a little bit different and probably small scale to start.
Yeah.
But I think it's needed and going to be widely accepted in the community.
Yeah, I think in the post on the Facebook page you have for this, you kind of explained this. You said, frontline sort of crisis, nonprofits like the Women's Resource Society, even the Salvation Army, they're helping you right when the thing's happening. If you're in an abusive relationship, you're trying to escape, here, we'll help you with this. You got this and that. But then after that, as you say, how do you heal from that?
Right.
How do you build your community back when your community was this person in your life and you don't have that anymore?
Right.
That was not something that these places are able to provide.
They can't.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Yeah.
Okay. Both Women's Resource and Salvation Army are good at what they do. They do the crisis work. They're great at it. Keep doing it. This isn't to take away from them at all. If anything, it's to be complementary to what they're doing so that we can add resources and have somewhere for these other agencies to say, hey, maybe you need to go over to Wellness Truth and jump in on some of the learning groups. The purpose of working with some of the families is so that we can incorporate, say, the teen nights. It's not going to be a 9-to-5 free-for-all open organization because it's going to be people that are signed up in groups doing things. So registration for the programs is going to be necessary, but it's all free.
Now, is this like, are you going to have like a physical place you go to? Like, this is the Wellness Truth, or is it like you sign up for the stuff online? We're going to meet here. Like, I guess my question is, before you have a building, if you don't have one, are you sort of cobbling together? We'll meet at the library or this or that kind of thing.
Sort of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're using the basement of the Eastern Star, Chapter 91 Elcan here in Fort St. John. And we're using that for group right now. We've done some Zooms. We've done some one-on-one stuff, trying to get things ready to go at the same time. So our board is all registered and ready to go, and we have some brilliant minds on the board. I'm super excited. And they are too. They're coming together and they're working together, and it's a really healthy group. So I'm really excited for that too.
If I remember right, Lisa, you're a social worker. So is there other sort of profession, either social workers or professions sort of like that, that people that are already, saying, I can volunteer my time to help you out, this sort of thing? Or is part of this going to be, well, you need to speak to somebody like this. Let's also get you transferred over there. Or are you trying to kind of do it kind of all within, the community without...
No one can do it
I'm blanking
all.
on the word, but go ahead.
No one can do it all.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what agency you're working in, you're going to have to make referrals.
Yeah.
Advocacy is going to be a big part of it. We were talking about having volunteers being able to advocate with some of our families post-trauma with the medical system, so that they can take one of the volunteers that have gone through X training. These are the questions you should help them ask and help them understand what their life is going to be like while they're going to the doctor. And it helps the doctors too, because then the information that the doctors are trying to get across to the clients you can sort of middle it.
Yeah. And I suppose vice versa. They know what the doctor's going to need to make this happen. Yeah.
So I've got quite a few people that have volunteered for that, and for the teen nights, and for the women's groups, just saying, hey, like, how can I get involved? Volunteers just seem to be there. We have quite a few signed up, and they're very excited and enthusiastic. So
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear you're underway already. Of course, you need money to be able to keep anything going. So you've got a lot of different things you're kind of doing right now in terms of donations. The auction, the big one that we've already talked about a bit, eh?
That's today at 3 o'clock. You guys will probably see me spamming Facebook. Sorry, but trying to build up anticipation and that competitive nature that we all know and love in Fort St. John. I'm so excited. Some of the things that are on there. We have the ultimate Valentine's Day date planned where multiple businesses have come together. We have a king size suite at Homes to Suites with rose petals, wine, towels folded into little animals. Apparently that's part of it.
Love those.
Kind of cool. We have dinner for two at Mr. Mike's. Treats are being provided by Sam over at Baking Me Crazy.
There's lots
There's
of great
another
items.
one. I'm trying to remember what else is in that one. Oh, the roses from Flower Hut. So this is going to be like one big package that 4 agencies, 4 organizations came together and jumped in. Like, it's just so cool.
Said, here's what we can provide to help you auction off to make a little cash for your venture. Okay.
Yeah, and people have been donating and also saying, hey, like, number 36 on your list, I'm gunning for it. I'm like, well, 3 o'clock, I've been erasing bids all week. So if you have put a bid on anything and it has disappeared, I'm sorry. But they had to wait until 3 o'clock today. So it's going to go for 48 hours.
Okay.
Cut off. And then you can come get your stuff, or we can meet you, or whatever. We'll go from there.
Wonderful. Do you have is there an amount you're hoping to raise? Like, is there a goal you've got that you've announced, or?
I would love to see $5,000 come out of the auction.
Yeah. Okay.
That would help a lot. We need to rent a place. We still need insurance. We are incorporated and registered as a nonprofit now. Charity status will be done with the accountant this week. So I'm so excited for this, but terrified.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, I think the auction's happening on the Facebook page. You got Wellness, Truth, and Families Foundation that you established earlier this month. So you can go there, follow them, and get in on the bidding that starts at 3 o'clock today. Is there other ways people can support you right now as well?
Oh, yeah, just get in touch with us. You can email at wellnesstruthandfamilies@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us through Facebook, Instagram. Also, we're having another fundraiser in February. On February 9th at Modern Garage, we're having a Cards Against Humanity competition.
Nice.
So the idea of our future fundraisers is that we're going to be doing stuff in the community for all demographics that is an activity.
Yeah.
So like this one, okay, yes, it's in a bar and it's for adults. And it's going to be so much fun. 50-50 raffles and door prizes and winning competitions. We actually have a secret surprise for the best hand of Cards Against Humanity. And I'll be taking pictures of people who think they have the best. Put it up on the board. They get voted on by the end of the night. And who wins gets this super special prize. So we're pretty stoked for that. So get your tickets, eventbrite.ca.
Awesome. I won't be able to read the winning hand on the radio, I'm sure. If you've played Cards Against Humanity, you know it can get pretty dark.
But in the summer, we're doing slip-and slides and barbecues for the kids too,
there you
right?
go. So family-friendly
activities on the way. There's going to be family nights. There's going to be nights for adults. There's going to be trivia nights. There's going to be teen nights. There's going to be something for, in the summer, I think we have a fishing derby planned.
Lots of good ideas on the way.
We want to do stuff where we're giving back to the community. That way I don't want to just say I need money.
Yeah.
You know? Like, hey, come make a donation, do this. We'll have some fun. And we'll go from there.
All right. Well, again, follow the Wellness, Truth, and Families Foundation on Facebook for more information. Get in on that bidding happening starting at 3 o'clock today and open for 48 hours. Lots of cool stuff to bid for in there. And you'll be supporting an excellent local nonprofit that is just starting up and is going to do great work for people in the community. Lisa, thanks for being here. We'll have to have you on again very soon to talk more about how that went and how things are going for you. So thanks for making some time for us.
Oh, thanks for having me. And thank you to the community. You guys are just awesome every time.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, that's Lisa Jewell with the Wellness, Truth, and Families Foundation. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Moose Talks right after this Do you have some good news you'd like to share with the community? We here at Moose FM want to share your positivity every weekday. Whether you're fundraising for the SPCA or saw someone doing a good deed in the community, we want to hear from you. Email us at reception@moosefm.ca and we'll share your good news right after the 7:30 a.m. news and on our Facebook pages. Good News is brought to you by Frontier Law.
The Great Canadian Road Trip is coming to the Eventive Event Center, and we're giving you a chance to win your way in. See Doc Walker, Michelle Wright, and Jason McCoy in concert on January 24th, simply by listening to 100.1 Moose FM. Twice a day until January 19th, we'll give you a keyword to text the station. When you hear your cue to text, send your first name, last name, and the keyword to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222. For more information, visit moosefm.ca or download the 100.1 Moose FM app. To buy your tickets to the Great Canadian Road Trip, visit lakeviewtix.ca.
Workout, Wine Wednesday, Wednesday Wisdom. Wednesday has quite a few hashtags, but at your Fort St. John Co-op, it's Wacky Wednesday. With a minimum 30-liter gas fill, you can buy one of the Fort St. John Co-op's 4 car washes at half price. Wednesday, at the 100th Street location, fill up, wash up every Wacky Wednesday at your Fort St. John Co-op on 100th Street. Fort St. John Co-op, you're at home here. Visit fsjcoop.crs.
Hey, do you want to play a game? Reverse That Song is here. Guess what song is playing in reverse for a chance to win a $50 gift card to So Sweet Cafe and 250 Pizza each week. We'll play a song in reverse at 2:50 weekday afternoons, so make sure you're ready to call in and make your guess. Good luck and have fun. No panic.
Windows, window coverings, windshields. At Alpine Glass Windows and Doors, we do it all. Class up your room with powered smart blinds from Hunter Douglas, or come see our selection of Hunter Douglas roller shades, fabrics, and cellular shades. Need to update your windows and doors? Alpine Glass is your source for Geldwin and Plygem windows and doors. Plus, when it comes to windshield repairs and replacements, we handle ICBC claims for you. To learn more, visit alpinewindows.ca or give us a call at 250-785-6409.
Want to take a gamble on something delicious? You can spin the new and appetizing Moose Eats Wheel and win $25 to your favorite local spots. Spin and try to win $25 to Cass's Kitchen, Red Barn Cafe and Catering, Brown's Craft House, Aw Delicious, and KFC.
Find all your Bible journaling tools at Peaceful Pages. Stop in today and see their selection of Bible tabs, Bible safe pens, markers, and more. Plus, Bibles, devotionals, and faith-based books. Peaceful Pages Christian Bookstore, a peaceful place to escape. Open Tuesday to Saturday on 101 Avenue, Fort St. John.
Moose Country weather.
Today we're going to see a 40% chance of flurries under cloudy sky. That's later this afternoon anyway. High to minus 23, feels like minus 35. Cloudy sky tonight with some periods of snow beginning this evening. Could see 2 to 4 centimeters. Temperature at minus 22, feels like minus 32. Tomorrow, periods of light snow and in the morning, then cloudy with a 30% chance of flurries. Minus 17, feeling like minus 21. And Sunday, snow and minus 19.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Our thanks to our guests today, Bob Zimmer and Lisa Jewell, for joining us. If you'd like to hear this episode again, or if you'd like to hear an old episode of Moose Talks, make sure you check out the Energeticcity.ca podcast page. You'll find old episodes of this show there, along with episodes of Secrets of the North, our true crime podcast, Before the Peace, and Voices of the Peace as well, archived for your listening pleasure. Take some time to listen to some excellent locally produced podcasts today, especially if you're sitting at your desk or got a bit of a journey ahead of you in the truck at Energeticcity.ca/podcasts. That's our show. Jordan Prentice and Trey Lopashinsky are the producers of Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.